we have been talking about mind power, how this mind really going to help a body to transform. And many previous episodes talk about how the stress, how its conflict, trauma really shows up in our life. And that's where we create the chronic stress and chronic disease. So today's episode, it's really, really incredible. We have an expert, Michael Sheridan. He's no stranger to the camera. He's appeared to be on the countless TV and radio stations, including the BBC. For over 30 years, Michael has been showing how our dreams reveal the cause of our current health issues and predict future ones. So Michael says that many of these issues stem from how we are received by our parents on day one when we were born. This is really, really critical and very important. So Michael going to help us guide into this. We think that we're waking state during the day, but when you're going to sleep, we think we're sleeping, but then our mind never stops processing everything. So, Michael, thanks so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, please, you're welcome. Then tell us about how this dream works.
Okay, so it's kind of funny. There's lots of theories about dreams, and lots of the theories are crazy.
Yeah.
The way dreams work is they pull in events from the day, things that have been going on for us, and they make a kind of like a little mini workshop about that's designed to do one of three things: to heal us, to guide us, or to just show us how we are in relation to the subject matter. So every dream has a subject matter, and a lot of the backdrop of a dream is just there to hold particular symbols. So like what stands out in the dream. So you look at a dream and you say, okay, this dream is about where I work. So should I bother interpreting it? And the answer is, what's different in the dream? Is there somebody in the dream? You go, oh yeah, well, Robert De Niro was my cellmate at work.
Yeah.
If you don't like work. And so, okay, so why is he there? He stands for something. And so there's always something that stands out in the dream. You look at that and that's going to tell you something about yourself. And my favorite aspect of dream interpretation is using our spiritual gifts. But dreams don't just look at a particular aspect of our lives. They put everything together holistically and they say, this is how this piece affects this piece, affects this piece. And they all come together. They're all important. You can't ignore an aspect of your function. Be like you're saying, I'm just not going to wear a left shoe today and I'm going to do everything as normal. We have to take care of everything about ourselves, and the parts that we don't take care of show up in our dreams.
Wow, that is so critical, isn't it? That's so important information because, this comes to the medicine too. You cannot just do the one looking at the structure, look at just blood to really find out, what's going on here, right? That's exactly integration, how we put the whole things together in a holistic way, same as a dream. Isn't it?
And when dreams put two things together, it means working on either one of those will help the other. So that's really useful because there might be an aspect that you don't know what to do about this aspect, but because you see something else, you can do something about that something else. And then we'll see how maybe your primary issue improves based on you doing that work.
Oh, wow.
So I love those connections.
Yes. So then we think during the day, we're processing it, we wake up in the morning, right? And then we have this all start getting into the reaction in the morning, having this family member talking to something, making breakfast, right? Children doesn't behave, wife says something. All those keep coming out. And then we think that, okay, we need to control emotion. We should, collect ourselves. But then sometimes we create a reaction, right? Based on what we have this as a blueprints.
Yeah.
So how this gonna shows up or interpret it into as a dream.
So our dreams ask us to be true to ourselves. So if you're saying if you control your emotions, that's going to show up in your dreams. Like if you keep people at a distance, typically if you control your emotions, you also keep people at a distance. You don't want people to get close to you. You may have some close friends, but there's always going to be a reason why you control your emotions. Because why would you, children don't come into the world with that, with the idea, I have to be careful how I represent myself. I have to suppress how I really feel. And if my partner asks me how I feel, I have to say, everything's good, everything's fine. That's not good. And ultimately your dreams will say, here's a physical health issue that's going to happen because of the fact that you're habitually ignoring that you need to express yourself.
So it's really important to, how when you feel, well, first thing, introspection, how am I feeling here?
Yeah.
But then also you have to process, you have to express, and you got to process this, right?
But, being true to your nature, if you're an angry person by nature, your dreams will encourage you to be that angry person. If you're vindictive, they will encourage you to be vindictive. And it seems crazy, but you can only progress when you understand where you are. So if you want to get from where you are to some other state, but you're denying that you're an angry person or a vindictive person, maybe you meditate a lot, you do some other things that like calm you down, your dreams are going to say, stop doing those things, because you have to acknowledge that you have a source of anger. The anger is because of something else that happened to you way back in childhood, typically.
Yes.
You work on that, and then the anger disappears. You work on the traumatic event, heal the trauma and the effects of that traumatic event, and then your anger disappears, or whatever it is for you. It's different for everybody, but our dreams show it. And of course, some people have done work and they don't have these issues, and they're not going to show up in their dreams. But dreams will show why a situation today feels the way it feels, why it gets you or triggers you the way it triggers you. But it'll say, this doesn't come from today. The feeling typically comes from something way before. And in childhood is when we typically have our first experience of everything. And so the reaction we have to the first time for a major event, say like you're born, mom doesn't show you unconditional love. And you determine from that this is not a loving world. I am not loved. And you go through life then feeling alone, always feeling like you're not being loved. Even when you're with your friends, you feel kind of different, like you're not the same as them, or you're at a party, you don't really feel invited. And it's a horrible feeling, but it's all because of that first initial feeling.
Yes.
And it causes you to act particular ways. And essentially, you put a wall up around your heart in order to protect yourself, because you don't like this feeling of like not being loved. But that ultimately will lead to a physical health condition unless you do something about it. Right. And if I'm talking health on purpose, even though dreams talk about everything, because of your show, but 51% of us die of heart-related illness.
Yes.
And our dreams show this.
Yes.
And they show the cause of why you have this wall up, and then what you need to do to take the wall down. And once you take that, so one of the symptoms of having that traumatic start is that you don't express how you feel. You don't share honestly with people how you feel. So you will tell people that everything's fine, that you feel good, you're happy, when you're not. And you haven't felt happy in years maybe, and you think, I don't want to put them out. I don't want, like, they're not interested, or I don't want to put them out, whatever. We have excuses that we use. But our dreams show initially that it's an emotional problem, an emotional barrier that we have up, but that it ultimately will become a physical problem. And when it becomes a physical problem, obviously it's a lot worse. So the ideal is see what your dreams are saying, see what the cause is, go back and address the trauma, not the symptom. So the symptom of you keeping people at a distance is not something to address, because that's not the problem. The problem was you didn't feel loved. So address the fact that you didn't get love from mom, and then you will suddenly find that you're able to express yourself, no problem, to people when you didn't used to be able to do it at all.
Wow. I thank you so much. That's the key, isn't it? So just not by meditating or to being mindful, the one thing, right?
Yeah.
To control, feeling. But what you're saying is that you got to identify, you got to heal them.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you can just meditate. Okay, I'm really good, right?
Yeah.
But then dream keeps showing up because you haven't healed.
Absolutely. And if you stop meditating for even 2 weeks, those repressed feelings come back up. And I'm not knocking meditation. I'm saying don't use it for that purpose. Heal all the issues and then meditate. That's fantastic, because that's going to take you new places.
Yes.
But don't use it for what it's not designed for.
Wow, that is very powerful. Because many people, I think that's so easy, because I got so many patient clients, right?
Yeah.
We identify that. I can see that all the trauma, things that hasn't resolved.
Right.
Yeah, and it's all, I'm not good, just listen to music or do these things. So I feel good. So they haven't processed yet. So then keep problems not healing, keep coming back, just cycles.
So it's funny how, like, everything ultimately comes down to an imbalance of masculine or feminine energy. That's what dreams will show anyway. But it can show up differently for people. Like, talk about feminine or masculine energy is a very abstract thing. But certain things like expressing how you feel is a feminine energy thing. being nurturing, being caring, loving, etc. They're all feminine energy. And if you have difficulties with one of those, even feeling love, accepting love, or forgiving people, not being judgmental, they're all feminine energy. It's like the physical world allows us put into concrete form something that is otherwise abstract to us. So we can just focus on the issue that we have or that we see in the physical world. And conversely, masculine energy is all about feeling safe or supported. And so if you don't have that, if you have an imbalance of that, it's going to come from dad, issues with dad typically. But you might have difficulty with career, and it's always a problem for you. And so focusing on your career and fixing those issues helps you restore the balance of that energy if you do it right. But again, your dreams are going to show that. And also dreams will connect issues in that area to other potential physical health problems. Like our digestive system, for instance, is one system that's governed by masculine energy. So issues with dad can end up causing you problems with the intestines and elimination system issues, which it's kind of interesting when you start looking at your dreams. They cover everything, including health. But one of the things they will hammer you on is if you eat foods that your body can't tolerate. They will point them out over and over and saying, drop these foods, drop these foods, drop these foods. Because if you have an issue with any other part of your body, we generally have to pull toxins from somewhere to target that part of our body. It's going to start with your diet. Fix the diet and you're taking away the ammunition that's often used to help you become ill in another part of your body.
That's awesome. How you can really identify and can approach them, to be, when you become more aware.
Yes, yeah. And it's easy to watch your diet.
Yes.
Like you can say, well, I don't know how to fix this other thing, but I can watch my diet, and then you can watch your health improve. You'll definitely watch your energy improve. When you stop eating foods your body can't handle, your energy improves enormously, and then that energy is used for other good purposes.
I see. Because that's the most easiest thing to do as a 3D world as a human being, right?
Okay.
It's a survival. We want to eat food, but then again, there's that addictive behavior.
Totally.
We have this attachment to this particular food.
Yeah.
But you can identify those,
So the foods that are your comfort foods, like you go to when you feel wounded,
Yeah.
they're probably the foods you shouldn't eat.
It shows what is it, allergy testing.
Yeah.
Most like, what? This is my favorite food. Well, I wonder.
Yeah. But when you stop eating it for a while, even just a few weeks, if you eat it again, now that your body's clear, people will identify quickly, wow, I had that again, and I felt terrible within like just 10 minutes of eating it.
Yeah.
So your body is trying to tell you, but if you keep taking it, then your body goes into, okay, I guess there's no other good food around, and we have to just learn to use this as our baseline, but you can fix it. And of course, a lot of the time, if you eat food that causes a problem, it means there's a lot of other foods that you can't eat because you're eating this one bad food. And so you take that one bad food out, you'll find there's a lot of other foods that you thought that you couldn't eat that are fine. They're just because this one food or two foods upsets your system so badly, you now become more tolerant to other foods, secondary foods. Or intolerant.
So now they're creating those layers, covering up all the stuff.
So you cut it all out, cut out all the bad foods, and then you can slowly introduce foods again and see, am I okay with this? And your body will tell you fast. Or I've seen you do this live on stage. You can tell people instantly.
Yes.
Don't even go near that food.
Yes. Well, it's a frequency. We really tune into that level of the frequency, right?
Yeah.
The frequency is to reject. Body going to say, hey, I don't like it. Just like even people, right?
Yeah.
I don't know about this person. Something about just give me a little chills, right? But then what is that? We're sensing that it's called electromagnetic field or what energy of the photon, what is that interpretation is.
And you have some people get bent on, I must make that person like me. When the universe is saying, what are you doing?
Yes.
But
there's people that keep going at it, right?
Yeah.
So there's some addictive behavior, something that fill in the missing part of it. But
totally. There's a void on the inside, and I can fix it if I address this person. And that's often the way it is. So if you look at how a person behaves, you can also tell what their wound is. So if I don't feel the world is safe, if I don't feel supported by dad, then I will do things to make my environment safe. I might put extra locks on the door than on my neighbors, or I might try to control everybody in my household. and say, like, this is how we must all do things. These are the rules we must all follow. And so I do things that show that I have a wound inside. But I typically, like, evolution has us look outside to, like, the problem must be outside in the world. If I hear a twig breaking in the forest, it's like, what's going to attack me? I have to look. And so we still do that. So we have a problem, we try to fix it on the outside, when really what we need to do is look inside and go, where's the imbalance? Where's the void, as you call it? And I think that's a great way, because you can't fill it. You can't fill it by fixing anything on the outside. If it's, you don't feel loved, if you watch people at a party, if there's one person that welcomes everybody that arrives, but it's not their party, their wound is that they didn't feel welcomed. And we try to prevent other people from feeling the same trauma that we felt as a child. And so it's shown on the outside, but it's not so obvious to the person that's doing it.
Yeah. Wow. This is very deep conversation, which I think everybody should be aware. I mean, this is critical, right?
Yeah, it's why we're here. It's what, we come here because we had this imbalance. The physical world and our parents allow us to transfer the imbalance into the physical plane, because we come in with a blank slate. So we pick parents that are a particular way. They mess us up in a very specific way. They're meant to. And then we're meant to find people who are going to help us rebalance. So they come along to you later in life. You point out what's not matching, and you take the steps to make it match again. Do what I need to do to get back in balance. And then I've grown. So the childhood issues are meant to be a catalyst for our future growth. But a lot of us in the West, we just continue with that problem.
Yes, because it's easy to ignore them. You can just touch on it, right?
Yeah.
Right now, at this moment, I feel okay.
Yes.
Not fine, not fantastic, but it's okay.
Yeah, but if I drink, I'm fine. Or if I just don't get into relationships, I'm fine. Or if I don't, you name it. Or if I work, I become a workaholic, I'm also fine. But ultimately, it's like, why are you a workaholic? You're a workaholic because you didn't feel wanted when you were born. And if I work like crazy, then the people in my environment will want me, and it'll fix the void. But it doesn't fix the void.
Yeah, this is the same thing. If I keep myself in disease, I'm getting attention, right?
Yeah.
For you.
Yeah. And so that seems harsh, because that puts it back on the person and says, look, you're the cause of your illness is within you. But if it was any other way, you couldn't fix it. It's like, if you've got a headache, no amount of giving pills to your partner is going to fix your headache. So it's like, the problem is not your partner, the problem is not your parents, the problem is not your environment or your gender or whatever we typically think it is. It's like, society is so bad that as a woman, I need to work twice as hard to get the same recognition as a man. That is true in our society. There's nothing wrong with that, with stating that. But it's not your gender is the problem. It's society is the problem. And our dreams will show, and then other imbalances will show, that we are blaming something that isn't the problem. And so we end up with an illness in that part of our body. So fix your mindset and fix the trauma that caused you to have that at the start. And the symptoms and how you act just change on their own. Like, we don't have to go after the symptoms. We typically see the symptoms, and we typically go after them. Like, I don't feel confident. I doubt myself. I don't trust. All masculine energy issues. And people will say, well, just practice this and become more confident. But really, it's about, why don't you feel confident? And it's ultimately going to be, if dad supported me in childhood, this is dad's role. Like, moms are much more important, but dad's role is to be the pillar of strength and to say to you, no matter what you want to do in the world, I'm there behind you. And if you ever need me, just call me. I'm going to help you in every way I can. And if anybody looks at you sideways, you need to be worried about me going to jail for what I'm going to do to that person. That's the father we want, like, totally supporting us, always there for us. And when we have that, we build that energy within ourselves. And we can take on anything in the world, because we start off saying, my dad has my back. And it's not necessarily a verbal thing. And later on when we're adults, we know that, hey, I can take on anything because everything's fine. You could drop me like Bear Grylls anywhere you want in the world, and I know I'll be okay. But that comes because our father helped us fill in this inner part of us that gives us this strength, the confidence, belief in ourselves. If dad doesn't do that, then you're not going to feel any of that. And later on in life, not later on, like right at the start and all the way through, you're going to doubt yourself, doubt your abilities, not believe in yourself, have difficulty setting boundaries, all that sort of stuff. I mean, it can be specific. It can be very specific. It doesn't have to be all of those things, but it all comes from that one imbalance of energy.
This is so amazing to know what you're sharing. Because otherwise, again, reacting more, it cannot be proactively, going through the life to get healed.
Yes.
Yeah, that those stages, we must understand those stages that as a human go through. Without the pressure, we cannot grow, right?
Yes.
So that's the pressure basically being created different circumstances that each of us we have. And then recognize, heal, right? So then that growth, expansion happens after that.
Yes, but usually it takes a few times. So you go through 3 bad relationships, and eventually you go, maybe I'm the common denominator. Maybe I need to do something to grow, and then we do something to grow.
Yes.
Like, I also notice women are much more likely to do something to grow than men.
So there's a very in tune in emotion, in tune with what they're feeling.
Yeah. And also, they don't want to pass their stuff on to their kids, which is great. Their vibration is typically higher, I imagine, when you examine. But just by their nature, it has to be.
And look at that, if you go to a self-help, type of a conference, right?
Yeah.
Conventions.
Yeah.
Most of them, 80-90%, all women.
Yeah.
Why? Because they're really more proactive and they're very in tune with it.
Yeah.
And they want to grow.
Yeah.
I don't see that many men.
No.
I think it is growing slowly. I think their consciousness starts shifting it, but it's far still off from that.
But part of it is the issue with an imbalanced masculine side. Like independence and self-reliance are part of the masculine energy spectrum. There's nothing. Some feminine and masculine energy have nothing to do with men or women. They're gender neutral.
Yes.
We all have both. But masculine energy has an independence about it. So if I lean in that direction, I'm going to think I need to solve this on my own. And that's the problem that men have, is that I've failed in some way if I look for help. And if you can get them and into a system, then they're fine. But it's part of, it's just as part of the nature of the issues on that side makes them less likely to look to others to help them.
So how can I help them to shift? Do you have the magic pill? No.
I think there needs to be a paradigm view. There's nothing in our culture, like you look at the education system here, it's all about the academic side, in comprehension, intellectual understanding. They're all masculine energy things, and they're all honored and respected. And your grades are all based on that.
Yes.
There's nothing whatsoever to do with your ability to intuit anything or to explain how you feel when you see a painting. And it's not that these things aren't understood. Psychologists fully understand these things, and they help people through this. But we don't even in school, we're never even taught how to have an argument or how to have a conversation, how to say to somebody, this is how I feel, without blaming the other person. And so when people, even when they're trying to be helped with counselors and psychologists, the first few attempts at doing this are disastrous. It's like, I finally told that son of a how I feel. It's like, no, that's not it. Because your feelings are yours, regardless of circumstance. So for instance, if you say, my partner cheats on me, and he has a problem, your dreams will say, no, you have a problem. And people are like, that makes no sense. How can I have a problem if my partner's the one cheating? And your dreams will ask you questions like, why do you have misguided loyalty? Why do you show loyalty to someone who doesn't show loyalty to you? Because you can fix that. You can't fix the cheater, So it's always brought back to anything holistic will always bring it back to you and say, here's what you can do. You can't fix your world by changing somebody else.
Isn't it? The ripple effect. You have to make the noise within yourself.
Yes,
right?
yes.
Then other people start feeling.
And
Hopefully.
So typically what happens, but they do, when you grow, when somebody grows, they become the best source of referrals for you, because it's like, I like what you did for Mary. Could you do that? So it does happen. And it's great, to have that effect on people.
So I thought about this question too. So there's a dream interpretation shows up in dream. So there's some people say, I never have a dream.
Yeah.
Or I don't never see a dream. Or they have a dream, but they don't remember.
Absolutely.
How would you?
Yeah, so everybody dreams. We know that. The only people who don't dream are people in a coma. And the cycle is well understood. It's a 90-minute cycle, and we go through different brainwave activities.
Yes.
And then we go to just barely below waking consciousness, and that's when we have our dreams. There are dreams at another point, but so that's where we mostly have them, and that's when we remember them. And the people who don't remember dreams typically are burning the candle at both ends. They're working too hard. When the alarm clock goes off, they have to get up fast because they only have a certain amount of time to get the kids ready and get them to school and get to work, or whatever happens to be.
Survival mode, basically. Almost. Yeah.
Yes, yeah. And so there are ways around that. There are techniques you can do. There are a lot of energetic techniques you can do to help you remember dreams. But one way is to set an alarm clock to go off an hour before you need to get up. And then because you're going to have a lighter sleep because you got most of what you need, you probably will have a much better chance of recalling your dreams. But the thing is to not dive straight out of bed. Keep your eyes closed and try figure them out. But even people who say they don't have dreams, they will remember their dreams on vacation because they're more relaxed, and so that's all it is.
So the mind and neural system will relax, basically, right? So
they're staying in bed longer. Yeah. They're sleeping in, and they're giving themselves the chance then to dream. Or to remember them, not to dream. We always have the dreams.
Okay, then I can tell the clients and patients to do this way so that you now start seeing the dream. Because otherwise, if you don't recognize what that interpretation of the dream is, it's harder, right? You shouldn't say impossible. It's harder to interpret, to heal within self.
Yeah, and so the dreams people who are like that typically remember are their nightmares. They're unfortunately easy to remember.
Yeah,
but the interpretation of a nightmare is no different from a regular dream. And it isn't necessarily a bad thing to know. It's not necessarily predicting anything bad, but they're just definitely easy to remember.
I see. Okay. Well, so for the audience, would you give any 3 tips? How can I start doing things, to help ourselves heal, right, through the interpretation of the dream? Or could you give pointers on that?
3. So the first is to try to figure out where the imbalance is for you. And use your dreams as kind of a playground. Look at the characters. Everything in your dream is one of 3 things. It's there to heal you, to guide you, or to show you how you are in relation to the subject matter. Because we often will think, no, I'm very expressive, or I do this, or I do that, or I don't self-doubt. And your dreams are going to show you the truth of it. But if you look at your dreams, if we're looking at health, I'm digressing now, but if you're looking for health issues, look for physical objects in your dreams that are damaged. Because that's going to show you where the health issue is or where it could be. So if you take heart illness, a dream you don't want to have is a dream with like a cracked chimney pot or a fireplace with damage or a fence that's damaged, that kind of thing. Physical damage is always about the body. But it can warn you 20 years in advance.
So that's what you say, future.
Yes, way in the future. So if you see fire, because fire is in the fireplace, actually everything in a dream is either like earth, air, fire, or water. It's one of those 4. Okay. Fire symbols are all about the heart. And so if you see a fireplace, it's all about your heart, your emotional state. Emotional issues, though, become physical and become about the heart or circulatory system at some point if you don't address them. So if you see a roof on fire in your dream, it means the warning is about stroke, which is still a circulatory system problem. Yes. And again, what you do then is say, okay, what's the issue? What do I need to do? And you couldn't just say from looking at one dream, here's what you need to do. But you can definitely tell from your dreams, this is warning me about something specific and I need to do something about it. But your dreams give you plenty of time to do it. And if it is already an issue you have, like say you're anemic, you can have dreams about cars leaking oil. Engines in a car are about the heart as well. So leaking oil is a problem with the bloodstream and losing red blood cells, for instance. And so if you have that condition and you dream of a car leaking oil, then you know that the dream is also telling you what you need to do to address it. And if you don't have the condition, then the dream is warning you that this is where you're heading. And again, what you need to do to address it. So I haven't answered your question about giving 3 tips.
Well, that's a great tip because now there's a connection between that type of dream. Yeah. It could be the manifestation of these issues, right?
Yeah,
that's a great tip. But for me too, I think I asked several people, if like often I wake up, feel like in a dream, I'm looking for the bathroom.
Oh,
and then finally,
Yeah.
I start to go bathroom, but then there's a people in the bathroom.
Yeah.
I want to just have a privacy. I want to just go feel, relax, and release.
Right.
And then I go and find it. Then all of a sudden I wake up and, oh my God, okay, I want to go to the bathroom.
Yeah.
But there's a sensation, the feeling that I had quite a few times, those things.
Yeah. So whatever happened before that point in the dream, the bathroom is about elimination. So it can be about our physical elimination, but most of the time it's going to be psychological, letting go of something.
Yeah.
We know it's physical if there's focus in the dream on a physical object. Mm-hmm. And so when you have that dream, it's whatever happened before, the dream is asking you to let it go. And so you look at the other parts but usually we don't. Usually in those dreams, there's something wrong with the bathroom and we're not going to use it. Mm-hmm. And the privacy issue is going to be part of that. My issue comes from in the womb. You know, I feel violated if people get too close to me. So that's really my issue. And so what can you do? You asked for a tip.
Yes.
You can go back into those dreams and find a bathroom and use a bathroom. So you visualize yourself going back into the dream while you're awake, but like get into that nice meditative
on the
state.
same day.
Doesn't matter when.
Okay.
Yeah, it doesn't matter when. And just visualize that the dream ends properly. You do get to use the bathroom and everything's fine.
Oh, wow. Okay. I'm definitely going to do that.
Yeah.
That has been actually haunting me.
And that'll change your dreams. Because then you're giving the message back to the universe that, okay, or to your higher self really, that this is what I want.
I see. Well, that's the greatest tip. Well, thank you so much.
Right.
Well, I'm sure there's so many interpretation in the information that we can really pull out, from our unconscious mind, which is a sleeping state, right?
Yeah.
So please come to quantumdecoder.com/can Conscious Awakening Network. We have today's episode, the full episode, and then talk about Michael's deep, more suggestion and knowledge information and the contact information as well. So,
and people can get my dictionary too. If they're wondering, what is my dream about? You can download my dictionary for free.
Oh, and yes, please.
So if you go to dream-analysis.com, on that page, there's an opportunity to just download the dictionary. It's got thousands of symbols that are from real dreams that I've worked on with people over the years. And that will help you determine what your dream's about.
That's a fantastic gift. So, well, thanks so much, Michael.
All right.
We appreciate it to sharing your knowledge, information, and expertise. That is really helps us expand our awareness. So,
super.
Thank you. Arigato.
Thank you.